Let's turn this world around and show those best of our hearts. Let's all live together. Let's forgive together. Let's get it together forever. One day's not enough. I appreciate you when you tell me you're wrong. I appreciate you when you step from your throne. Let's humble ourselves as we learn from mistakes. Let's try to get along, we'll see the difference it makes. Let's all live together. Let's forgive together. Let's get it together forever. One day's not enough. I appreciate you when you tell me you're wrong. I appreciate you when you step from your throne. Let's humble ourselves as we learn from mistakes. Let's try to get along, we'll see the difference it makes. Let's all live together. Let's forgive together. Let's get it together forever. One day's not enough. One day's not enough. One day's not enough. One day's not enough. One day's not
Didn't you like how they came together at the end? I didn't expect it. I didn't know. All right, you can have them be seated. So I just wanted to, I never do this, and I'm Leotha Stanley, and I wanted to introduce the instruments this year. And on the drums, we have Jalen McCullough. And new to Madison this year is Jacob Rainey. And this is not Vanessa McDowell. And we miss her. This is Matthew Heredia. And 2 years ago, I met this gentleman, and simply his name is Yancey.
Hello, everyone, and happy MLK Day. From what I can see of you, hold on, I don't know where to look in my glasses. From where I can see of you, y'all look great. And this stage, y'all look amazing. Give it up for the choir. So my name is Angela Russell. I am the Chief Diversity Officer at True Stage, leading our diversity, equity, and inclusion team for... Aww. Y'all like diversity? That's so... Shiva, I heard you all the way up here. On behalf of the Madison, Dane County, Martin Luther King Coalition, I am pleased to welcome you to the 40th annual Madison, Dane County Observance honoring Dr. King's legacy for equity, justice, and peace. Thank you for joining us to celebrate, reflect, and connect. Tonight's program is a culmination of events planned by the Coalition to recognize Dr. King's beloved community, including Friday's community dinner. Shout out if you went to Friday's community dinner. Yes, yes. Yesterday's ecumenical service co-hosted with SSM Morris AME Church. Who went there? Yep. And today's youth call to action activities. Anyone go there? All right, y'all too old. Okay, oh. All right, some folks went there. So we gather this evening for a joyous celebration, and yet we know that this is a time of uncertainty and upheaval. It is difficult to not find a correlation with the challenges that Dr. King faced and what we're facing today. We therefore must draw on Dr. King's sense of optimism and remind each other that we will not give up the fight. Turn to one another and say, we will not give up the fight. All right, you say that to somebody? Now remind it to yourself too, right? We cannot and will not go backwards. The darkness that we might feel and perhaps experience can drive us forward as we work individually and collectively to shine a light for the betterment of all. We are so excited to have you here tonight at the Overture Center and to those tuning in on WORT-FM. Folks in the room, let's give a shout out for folks listening on WORT. Awesome. So we have a great program that includes the recognition of the 2025 Madison and Dane County MLK Junior Humanitarian Awardees by the county executive and mayor. We have musical selections from the MLK Community Choir. We have a rededication to our commitments towards social justice, a call to action, and of course, the highlight of the program is a speech from Bishop Vashti McKenzie. So this holiday means a lot to me, and I always kind of nerded out on it when I was growing up because my dad and MLK have the same birthday, January 15th. And yeah, aw, and it was so cool. It's so cool. But another reason why I nerded out on this holiday, and I continue to, is that I love that Dr. King was a student and practitioner of the work of civil rights. He was regularly learning from history, his mentors, and his peers, and I feel like I continually and regularly learn from him. In his sermon called Love in Action, Dr. King states, one of the great tragedies in life is that men seldom bridge the gulf between practice and profession, between doing and saying. On the one hand, we proudly profess certain sublime and noble principles, but on the other hand, we sadly practice the very antithesis of those principles. We proclaim our devotion to democracy, but we sadly practice the very opposite of the Democratic creed. We talk passionately about peace and at the same time prepare for war. We make our fervent pleas for the high road of justice, and then we tread unflinchingly to the low road of injustice. Humanity as a whole is facing so many challenges, and then when I read the work of Dr. King, I'm reminded that these challenges that we face today are not unlike the challenges he preached about regularly in the 60s. He laid such a good blueprint for us to follow, but we must be students of his work and be able to read and understand that blueprint. And being a student of the work is more than coming to an event. It's more than studying, and it's more than quoting his words. Being a student involves interrogating the work, tearing the work apart a bit, discussing it, experimenting, and then integrating the work into your practice of being human. In being a student of his work, you will be reminded of a few things. Number one, there is nothing new under the sun. Human rights, climate change, economic, and technology challenges are not new. Number two, you are not alone in working to make this world a better place. And number three, even though it doesn't feel like it today, the arc of history can really bend towards justice. Today and moving forward, let's continue to be a student of the work of Dr. King, the work of radical love, human rights, liberation, and justice. And let us remember that we've got the blueprint. We just need to use it. Your attendance here tonight, your volunteerism, and your donations support this forward movement towards a more equitable and just society. Now I'm gonna turn it over to Leotha, and we're gonna sing the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamara Stanley, and I have the pleasure of leading you in our Black National Anthem. If you would be kind enough to stand on your feet. Words are found in your program. Shall we sing? Lift every voice. Let it
Good afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Alex O'Calloway, the Academic Equity Success Coordinator at Edgewood College. But before we start, let us take a moment to lift in prayer those affected by the fires in California. May hope surround the families and community facing this devastation. Today, we come together to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man whose dream was not just a vision, but a call to action. Dr. King challenged us to imagine a world where justice flows like a mighty river, and that love can conquer fear. In this moment, we gather in a spirit of hope. Not the kind of hope that waits in silence, but the one that pushes forward, determined, unshaken, and alive. A hope that sees challenges as opportunities to build something much greater. We gather in a spirit of peace. Not a passive peace, but the one that demands justice, rooted in truth and love. A peace that confronts hatred, dismantles inequality, and uplifts the dignity of every person. And we gather in a spirit of action because Dr. King taught us progress is not inevitable. It is forged through struggle, resilience, and unwavering determination. It requires our hands, our voices, and our courage. The work is not done, and it's on us to carry it forward. So today, let us not only reflect, but also commit to walk together, to lift each other up, and to build a beloved community. Let us be the ones who transforms dreams into action and shape the future with our hands, bending the course of history towards justice. May this moment ignite a fire within us, and may Dr. King's legacy propel us forward, not just in thought, but in bold, transformative action. The time for change is now, and it begins with us. Thank you.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak.
Hard to follow that act, folks. Hope everyone is warm in the heart as well as in the heat of this amazing space that we are sharing with one another tonight. My name is Melissa Agard, and I am thrilled to be your Dane County Executive. So it is a true honor to be standing here tonight as we gather to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and to recognize the incredible contributions of this year's MLK Humanitarian Award recipient, Mr. Charles Tubbs. I'm going to make Charles stand up here with me so he can receive his flowers and all of the light and all of the love from all of you in the room. So Charles embodies the values and principles that Dr. King championed: justice, compassion, service, a steadfast commitment, and a steady hand to building a better, more equitable, and more just world. With over 52 years of distinguished public service, I don't know, were you a fetus when this all started? Charles has demonstrated what it means to lead with dignity, courage, and heart. Charles lives his life lighting our candles. His career spans emergency management, law enforcement, community safety, fields where he has navigated some of the most complex and pressing challenges of our times. Charles's leadership shines brightest in the face of adversity. We all need people who are there with the steady hand that we know will guide us to the other side of a challenge, and that is who Charles is. Whether it's his work during the 9/11 attacks, where his innovative proposals helped lay the foundation for the Safe Skies Act, or his remarkable guidance during the historic 2011 Wisconsin state capitol protests. I think that might be where you got to know me. Charles has always approached his responsibilities with a deep respect for human life and dignity and a belief in nonviolence. As the director of Dane County Emergency Management, where I have the privilege of working with him every single day, and he reminds me of that, his steady hand has guided our community through the COVID-19 pandemic, the social justice demonstrations that followed the tragic death of George Floyd, and what it is that we do not know is coming our way. Charles has never wavered from his commitment to fairness and equity and a greater good, the belief that when we all come together and see each other for who we are as individuals and humans, we can get through nearly anything. But his impact goes far beyond his professional accomplishments. Charles's advocacy for addiction awareness, driven by a personal loss, has broken barriers and built support networks for countless families, including mine. Thank you, Charles. His dedication to mentoring and empowering others reminds us all of the power of service and the power of one. An important reminder for all of us right now. So as Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Charles Tubbs has answered that question every single day before he puts his feet on the ground and every night before he closes his eyes when his head is on his pillow. He has answered that question through a lifetime of service and leadership and guidance and compassion for our whole community. So tonight, it is my great privilege to present the 2025 Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award to a man who exemplifies the very best of every single one of us, Mr. Charles Tubbs, Sr. Please join me in honoring him. Clap for you. Here, look it right there. There you go. It's your turn. Do you want me to hold this for you?
Now, how do you expect me to follow that? That beautiful song and singing and that powerful message from our great county executive, new leader, Melissa Nygaard. Good evening, family, friends, and esteemed guests. Thank you for joining us this evening to celebrate the life and the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As he so powerfully said, faith is taking the first step, even though you don't see the entire staircase. This evening, we honor the vision, courage, and unwavering commitment to his justice, equality, and the dignity of all people. I'm deeply humbled to receive the 2025 Dane County, City of Madison, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Humanity Award, alongside an extraordinary Sheree Wallace. Congratulations, Ms. Wallace. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to your selection by the committee. Thank you, County Executive Agard and Mayor Rose Conway, for this incredible honor. I hold this award in the highest regard as a testimony to the power and service and the shared values that unites all of us. Dr. King posed a question that continues to resonate today. What are you doing for others? This question has guided me for 52 years. I'm old. Of public service, the journey has become more than a career. It has been a calling, a privilege, and the responsibility of me to serve God, my family, the country, and the community. From a young age, I dreamed of becoming a pastor, a law enforcement officer, professional athlete, or a public servant. Inspired by these heroes like Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, Bill Russell, Muhammad Ali, and most profoundly, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Witnessing the civil rights movement, the Vietnam protests, the Kent State unrest, the war on drugs, the poor treatment of vulnerable people, my own mistreatment at times by the systemic inequalities and helped shape my belief that law enforcement needed to transformation. Law enforcement cannot arrest its way out of the challenges. It must protect and serve all people with fairness, integrity, and humanity. It also taught me social justice is not a distant idea, but a daily commitment. It also showed me that every institution must evolve to truly protect and serve fairness, integrity, and humanity. One of the most profound moments of my life and journey was personally meeting Coretta Scott King and receiving a personal letter recognizing me for my service in during the challenging, difficult times in this country. Her encouragement reaffirmed my commitment to the cause of justice and equality. As Dr. King so powerfully said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This work calls to embrace people of all races, ethnicities, in faith, religion, gender, sexual orientation, abilities, culture, language, age, and walks of life, recognizing that our diversity is our greatest strength. Social justice requires us to listen to the act of humanity and to extend compassion to those who are the most vulnerable. When we lift up the marginalized and the forgotten, we elevate the entire community. As Dr. King reminded us, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish like fools. To my wife, Cindy, your steadfast love and support has been my rock. To my family, friends, mentors, colleagues, your belief in our shared mission has made every mission possible and successful. My deepest gratitude goes to those who nominated me. Dr. Floyd Rose, Governor Jim Doyle, County Executive Joe Parisi, and Madison school official Johnny Shake Milton. I call him Shake. I also want to comment that Governor Doyle and County Executive Parisi are two of the finest human beings and bosses I've ever worked for. Let's give them a hand. They allowed me to do what was right. They would listen to me and they would help guide and direct me and support me every step of the way. I also want to recognize Joe Lomax, who's here tonight. Joe Lomax was the first black police officer in the city of Beloit where I got my start. Joe faced some very difficult times. He paved the way and opened the doors for the rest of us to come in, and we want to thank Joe Lomax for his service. Over the years, I've witnessed the power of unity, compassion, and the purpose in every role I held as director, chief of police, administrator, honorary commander, instructor, and as a citizen. These experiences have taught me that it means to lead with humanity, strength, faith, and the courage to confront any challenge and all challenges head on. Dr. King reminded us the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at a time of challenges and controversy. As we step into 2025, let's focus on our most prestigious resource, our children. Committed to building a future rooted with justice, inclusion, and love. Let us protect our most valuable among us. When we lift our children up and those who are less fortunate than we are, we elevate the entire community. Dr. King said we need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity. But in love with humanity. This is a time to reflect, recharge, and recommit ourselves to service. Let us be guided. Dr. King believes that all we want to do, let me strike that, let me say that again. Dr. King very clearly states, all I want to do is do God's will. As long as there's breath, that is a hope. I'm getting a little choked up here, I'm sorry. To whom most is given, much is required. Thank you for 52 plus years of support, service, and shared purpose. Together, let's build a brighter, more compassionate future for all. Thank you.
And this is an addition. This is to cover the Overture award.
Good evening. My name is Satya Rhodes Conway. I'm honored to be the mayor of Madison. And before I go any farther, I want to take a moment and thank our sign language interpreters tonight for sharing this ceremony with those who need it. And I want to wish you all a Happy New Year. It is wonderful to be in community with the people of Madison and Dane County today. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming to celebrate the legacy of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. More than ever, we need to remember the values that he fought for in his lifetime. I also want to acknowledge that as a nation, we find ourselves in interesting times. I spent the last week in Washington, D.C. for 2 different conferences of mayors, and it was interesting. It was challenging. It was, there were times when I was discouraged. But I'll tell you, tonight, I am not discouraged. Because although we know that the moral arc of the universe bends slowly, we also know that when we put our hands to it, it bends towards justice. There was a lot that happened today. I hope you were not watching the news. And if you were not, you may have missed something remarkable. One of his last acts in the office of the President of the United States of America, Joseph R. Biden commuted the sentence of Leonard Peltier. And so when I say to you that I am not discouraged, because I know that there are hands that are placed on the ark to bend it towards justice. And I hope that all of us will place our hands there and bend. And I know that tonight we honor people who have consistently, over the arc of their lives, placed their hands to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. And it is my great pleasure to present tonight the 2025 Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award to our second honoree, Sheree Wallace. You're gonna have to stand here and I'm gonna say a bunch of nice things about you. I can tell that you all know Sheree. Sheree Wallace is passionate about community health. She came to Madison in 1999, and she has lived in the Meadowood neighborhood for 20 years. She joined, that's right, yay Meadowood. She joined the Meadowood Neighborhood Association, and before you knew it, she was addressing her community's needs by serving community suppers. Who all has been to a community supper that Sheree has organized? All right, I see you. And she was forming partnerships with the police and nonprofits to support families in need. Sheree worked full-time at night while working without pay during the day to help those in need of food and medical care. And if that weren't enough, Sheree became the first certified community health worker in Madison. And she founded the Meadowood Health Partnership, where she currently works, and I sincerely hope is getting paid, but I know not enough. In 2016, Sheree created her own community health care office and organized the first Stop the Violence, Save the Children parade in Southwest Madison, a tradition that she now continues annually. She works with Focused Interruption and partners with Madison and Dane County Public Health on violence prevention. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, Sheree was instrumental in organizing vaccine clinics in marginalized neighborhoods. She did, and she supported families facing eviction, connecting landlords with federal core funds to help keep people housed. Sheree's tireless efforts have set the standard for community health work and outreach, making her a bridge to healthcare networks across the city. Sheree Wallace and Meadowhood Health Partnership serve as a model for the transformative power of grassroots healthcare advocacy. I know we all serve in different ways, but let me tell you that I aspire that my service should be as impactful and as important as the service of this woman standing next to me. Sheree's impact is deeply felt in our city. She is a treasure, and I am, and I know our entire community is, grateful for her work. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheree Wallace.
Thank you. Okay.
With this right here, he's standing over there. You see Jonathan? And I'm gonna hold this while you talk.
Okay. Well, first I want to give honor to God for giving me the strength. And I was nervous sitting there till those two ladies got up and sung, "Precious Lord, Take My Hand." My grandmother used to sing that to me all the time. And then I said, my grandmama's spirit is here. So I'm gonna deliver this speech. Good evening, everyone. I'm deeply honored to receive the Martin Luther King Jr. Humanitarian Award. Like they said, Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent questions is, what are you doing for others? This question has been a guiding light behind the work we do at Meadowwood Health Partnership. This award is not just a reflection of my work, but a testament of the power of community. I have witnessed the profound strength that arises when we come together to address violence, health disparities, and inequities that impact our most vulnerable communities. During the COVID pandemic, we faced extraordinary challenges, and I'm proud of the work we did to bring vaccination pop-up clinics to Meadowwood. We helped families stay in their homes and connected people to the resources they need to survive. But this work isn't about me. It's about the countless hands and hearts that join together to make a difference. Through Meadowwood Health Partnership, we tried meeting people where they at. So if it was giving blood pressure, diabetes education, we did that. Supporting new mothers or providing immediate aid to families facing homeless or food insecurity. I firmly believe that grassroots efforts of community health workers are the foundation of change. And together, we are building bridges to health, hope, and opportunity. This award reminds me that work isn't done. This is not done. There's so much to do. But it also reminds me that none of us are in this alone. I share this honor with my community, my family, a dedicated team, Meadowwood Neighborhood Association, Good Shepherd Church, UW Health, Merida Unity Point, the Pharmacy Society, Rooster Wing, and Focus Interruption. My friend Anthony Cooper. Let me tell you about that guy. He'll call me and say, how you doing? I said, I'm all right. He said, your health all right? I said, yeah. But then when I get off the phone, I be like, am I all right? Why he just called me out the clear blue sky? But that's Anthony. He got such a caring heart. I want to thank the City of Madison, Department of Family and Medicine, Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Thank you for this incredible recognition. Let us continue to work together to build the beloved community that Dr. King dreamed of. Thank you.
Once I was living a life when everything came black or white, afraid to reach out to unknowns. I stepped back in my world and start a heart of stone. Keynote was the sign on my door. I don't know what you're coming here for. to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better get together or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by the one from heaven up above. Take it from me, it's plain and simple. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying. World coming to. Seems like everyone is running from the truth. But we must stand up and fight, walk into the light. We're the people, we can do it if we try.
I know we can do it. Somebody asked me why we have to go through it. It's just a test of our faith, but we're just living day by day. Don't know where, don't know when, but he's coming back again.
Here we go this time.
Hey!
Time to make a change. Here we go in this time, y'all. Time to make a change. We are the people who can do it.
Diseases are spreading mighty fast. Earthquakes are moving through the land. We must stand up and fight, try to make it right. We're the people, we can do it if we try. I know we can do it. Somebody asked me why do we have to go through it. It's just a test of our faith, but we're just living day by day. Don't know where, don't know when, but he's coming back again. Hey, it's time.
Here we go, you know that it's time, y'all. Time to make a change. We are the people who can do it. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take it from me, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying.
I know we can do it. Somebody asked me why do we have to go through it. It's just a test of our faith, or is it living day by day? Don't know where, don't know when, but he's coming back again. Yeah, yeah.
Here we go now. You know that. Let me see you stand to your feet, 'cause it's time, y'all. Time to make a change. We are the people who can do it.
That was amazing. Can we give it a round of hand again? Thank you. There were several things that I'm struck by. One, the dictation at breaking down discrimination. Did y'all hear that? And then the other thing, y'all made making change look joyful, right? And I think it's a reminder that our joy is part of this resistance. We're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. So right now, Bishop, are you ready? Can I give your intro? All right. I'm gonna give her intro. So it is a privilege and a pleasure to have Bishop Vashti McKenzie, President General Secretary of the National Council of Churches, and the first female bishop to lead the AME Church, with us here tonight. Bishop McKenzie was the first female elected to this position in the history of the AME Church. And yes. And as President and General Secretary of the National Council of Churches, she provides executive leadership to 37 denominations, 100,000 churches, and 30 million people. Bishop McKenzie was appointed by President Obama to the White House Commission of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships and named one of the 50 most powerful religious leaders in the world by the Huffington Post. She is characterized as an electrifying preacher. Bishop McKenzie preaches and teaches globally on women, leadership, and other social justice issues. In addition, she is the author of numerous books on women leading in the ministry. Bishop McKenzie attended Morgan State University, yes, where she majored in history and received a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Maryland, College Park, as well as a master's in divinity from Howard University. Yes, HU, yes. And a doctorate degree from United Theological Seminary. Bishop McKenzie has made a profound impact on society, which began early in a career in journalism and as a national chaplain for Delta, Sigma, Theta, Sorority Incorporated. Bishop McKenzie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, now, as long as technology will cooperate, we're going to be good tonight. Amen? All right, this is where you say, come on, technology. Come on, technology. Good evening. I want to thank the Madison and Glenn County as you celebrate the 40th annual celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Also want to thank Ed and Gloria and everyone in the Urban League and those of you who have provided hospitality. I also want to thank my sorors in public service who met me at the airport after flying all day. And I just want to praise God for being in a place that's 3 degrees below zero. They kind of warned me about, before I come, just make sure I brought everything. I did. I brought an extra suitcase. It had boots and layers. And all of my friends and neighbors who are familiar with being in the North told me all these kinds of secrets to stay warm. And after all of that, I said, if we just agree to go from one warm place quickly to the next warm place, then we will be all right. But thank you for including me in this celebration tonight. Beloved of God, there is an ancient myth about a man named Tantalus And Tantalus was a man condemned to live eternally in water he couldn't drink, and to see beautiful boughs of fruit that he could not eat. The water he could see, but it was just beyond reach. The fruit he could see, it was just beyond reach. Authors Morris and Tilden contend in a book entitled Weaving the Fabric of Community for Black Folk that this is the lot of African Americans. That we live in a land of plenty, but far too many. Plenty is just beyond your reach. We live in a land of freedom, but for far too many people, it is always beyond your reach. We live in a land of plenty, but for far too many people, it is a system of systemic barriers that limit their access to health care, nutrition, food, and stable housing. We live in a land of opportunity, but for far too many people, the legacy of enslavement and colonialization has created profound socioeconomic disparities affecting their overall well-being and community resourcing. We live in a land with public education, but for far too many children, their schools are underfunded. That results in overcrowded classrooms, outdated material, and limited extracurricular activity just beyond their reach. We live in a land of freedom, but for far too many people, inequalities create challenges that prevent these Americans from accessing the same opportunities that other people take for granted. Are you in the house tonight? We see the privilege of democracies, e pluribus unum, out of many, one, but it is beyond the reach of far too many. We are able to see the potential, but it's just beyond reach. We're able to see the possibilities, but it's just beyond reach. Life thus becomes an out-of-body experience where you become an observer of the life you long for but cannot reach. An observer of somebody else's life. An observer of somebody else's liberty. An observer of someone else's pursuit of happiness. Liberty and justice should be low-hanging fruit that everybody can reach, ripe for the picking, but it is eaten by the plagues of insects called racism and sexism. While you're reaching for it, it begins to disappear. Well, it's a Red Sea day. Come on here, where the church folk? It is a Red Sea day. You can see where you want to go, but you can't get there. Mountains on the right and the left, waters in the back, and your enemies are breathing down your neck. It's a Red Sea day where we have done all we know how to do and still can't get it done. We partnered, we collaborated, we built coalitions, we wrote letters, we participated in amicus brief, we dialogued, gone out on a limb, but we still can't get there. We've raised funds, knocked on doors, and we still can't get there. We called Congress, we called out Congress, we chastised the Supreme Court, we researched it, produced the data, influenced enemies, identified allies, and we prayed and fasted and fasted and prayed and prayed and fasted. And still, there are too many tiny coffins, too many children go to bed hungry at night, too many hate-filled racist acts and actions, overt and covert, that is shielded by the anonymity of cyberspace. Too many. Too many hate messages spewed across venom across multiple platforms. Too many people living without help and hope. In a country where your zip code can determine your lifespan, your quality of life, education, and income, are you still in the room? It is a Red Sea day, but God. Oh yes, but God. So what do you mean, but God? It means that we can still have hope. Hope how? Well, I'm not the only one, but some of us in here got a God testimony. We have a but God testimony. We got a track record with God. Huh? What was meant to bury me, but God resurrected me. What was meant to hurt me, but God helped me. What was meant to bring me down, but God built me up. What meant to shut me up, but God gave me a platform to keep talking. Yes, what was meant to harmed me, but God healed me. What others meant for evil, God turned it to good. That's Bible, that's Bible, that's Bible. And this then is the testimony. Through my but God moments, I learned how to lean and depend on a power source greater than myself. We can't have hope in the midst of doubts and fears and uncertainties. Hope when absolutely nothing makes sense. And hope when everything was and is unforeseeable and seemingly impossible. Yeah, we can still have hope for the future we've been dreaming about. Yes, we can have hope for a future that we've been writing about in our journals. The one with pictures on our vision board. The one day I'm going to do future, decreeing and declaring that future. We can still have hope for the future. And this is the day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that we revisit our hopes, that we engage with our dreams and re-engage with the dream and reject the destiny of Tantalus. This is where you say amen. Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? It is one way to reject the destiny of Tantalus. When the suffering of the marginalized is just as important as the suffering of the multitude. When the lives of black and brown bodies is just as important as white bodies. When the growth and development of all God's children is just as important as the growth and development of your child, then we can reject the destiny of Tantalus. We are human Americans. Now, see, if I was back in church, I'd say, turn to your neighbor and say, we are human Americans. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, but we have our own particular cultural and ethnic religious identities. We this and we that, and we there and over there. We're Italian, we're Greek, we're Haitian, we're Canadians, we're Deltas and AKAs and Alphas and Omegas and Kappas. Don't let me leave anybody out. Yeah, we all have our particular proclivities of the things that we identify with. But we are human Americans. One thing is for sure. We are human Americans. We are not subhuman Americans. We are not 3/5 Americans. We are not savage Americans. We're not slave human Americans. We are human Americans whose values are housed in the Constitution of the United States. In a democracy that is to recognize the inherent dignity of all people, this is essential for our thriving as human Americans, as well as a critical factor in how we respond to the challenges and injustices that we observe all around us. We are all like interconnected threads in a garment. And when one thread begins to unravel, it endangers the entire piece, because no thread exists in isolation. Are you still in the room? And so it endangers the whole piece, because no thread is by itself. And even if a thread feels or seems disconnected, it remains a part of the whole fabric. And so the owner of the garment would be unwise to think, let me just let this thread endure its pain because I'm not responsible for their difficulties. Instead, the owner would recognize that I must do what I can to care for the thread as its suffering impacts the entire garment. So when one suffers, we all suffer. That's Bible. The God that I serve made a lifestyle of connecting with those who are not like him. He ate with misfits. He ate with the tax collectors. He ate with the sinners and the wine bibbers. He welcomed the stranger and the infirm. And in his book, Accidental Pharisees, Avoiding Pride, Exclusivity, and the Other Dangers of an Overzealous Faith, author Larry Osborne says, Jesus' goal was to expand the kingdom, to bring salvation to people who were previously excluded. He came to seek and find the lost, including a whole bunch of people that other people didn't want to come to the party. Every human heart cries and yearns for the same thing, a chance to fulfill their own dreams and desires. All humans and human Americans possess the same desire to be free and free to pursue the vision and dreams in their hearts. Freedom. The French Revolution was fought because of it. Freedom. Gandhi sat down to get it. Freedom. It was what our ancestors stayed up all night long watching and praying and waiting for freedom to come with the dawn of the rising sun. Freedom. Our foremothers and forefathers died believing it would come one day. So they sang it, oh freedom over me. Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. It is what our parents march for. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, what? It is what we sang on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, walking the line between Montgomery and Selma, Alabama. Arms linked as we sat down at lunch counters and walked the streets, and bus rides through the South where it's warm. Bus rides through the South. We sang, we shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome one day. And this is the time of the year when we remember his dream, and we remember our dreams, and we remember what he said about the force which all of the great religions have seen as a supreme unifying principle of life. Love is somehow the key that unlocks the door, which leads ultimately to a brand new reality. Love seemingly has gotten lost in the sauce of divisive politics and unrelenting wars and rumors of war. Are you still in the house? We remember what he said, that the oceans of history are made turbulent by the ever-rising tides of hate, and history is cluttered with the wreckage of nations and individuals that pursue their self-defeating path of hate. We remember how he said that we must find a nonviolent way to give voice to those suffering under unjust policies and practices. We remember what he said, shed light on repressive systems of injustice that exist overtly or covertly in our countries and communities. King realized that the Christian principle of love, coupled with Gandhi's approach of nonviolence, served as a powerful tool for oppressed individuals in their quest for freedom. Now understand, nonviolence is not a weak-kneed, passive approach to activism, nor is it for those who fear confrontation. Nonviolent protesters do not just reject physical violence, listen now, against their adversary, but they also do not hate them either. What you say? They harbor no hatred towards them that seek to despitefully discriminate unjustly against them. So this Trinity, love God, love neighbor, and love your enemy takes a whole lot of strength. It takes strength to hold your peace. It takes strength to hold your tongue. It takes strength not to curse them out. It takes strength not to hit back. It takes strength not to enact revenge. It takes resolve, it takes emotional maturity, and it takes spiritual maturity. Everybody not there. Dr. King's faith was the strongest molder and shaper of his life and his work. There was also Gandhi and Reinhold Niebuhr. There was also Henry David Thoreau, philosopher and abolitionist, who helped shape Dr. King's views. In Thoreau's essay, Civil Disobedience, written in 1849, he wrote, "People have a duty to resist unjust laws through non-violent means." However, it was King's year-long experience with the Montgomery bus boycott that he truly began to integrate these various influences into his philosophy of nonviolence. King detailed these concepts in his 1958 book, Stride Towards Freedom, The Montgomery Story. And so nonviolence then becomes the linchpin of the civil rights movement. Y'all still here? Y'all get quiet. Y'all make me scared when y'all get quiet. Y'all get quiet now. Nonviolence then becomes the linchpin of the civil rights movement. And it required strength, and it required fortitude. And it was not a strategy to humiliate the adversary. You want me to say that again? That nonviolence wasn't a strategy to humiliate the adversary. Wise people know and understand that you don't change a person by humiliating them. King says the aftermath of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community, while the aftermath of violence is tragic bitterness. So nonviolence is as radical and evolutionary today as it was yesterday because it exposes undeserved suffering. Say it again? Okay. It exposes, I thought you said that. It exposes undeserved suffering, and wait now, and it seeks to defeat justice, not people. It focuses on the root cause of injustice. It focuses on the root cause of the problem. The struggle then is not against a particular people, but systems. Or as the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and wickedness in high places. Are you in the room? So you can see now that Dr. King wasn't murdered for his oratory skills. He wasn't shot down because his voice had a rich basal tone quality to it. He wasn't killed on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel because of his unique gift of phrases consecutively given. He was killed because he wanted America to change. And he was killed because he wanted Americans to change. Oh, Lord. King's words struck a nerve and agitated a nation which had become comfortable with her schisms and isms. His words pulled back the covers to reveal the ugly undercarriage of racial hatred and privilege. His words framed the issues of freedom and justice that elevated the values that all of us aspire to. This 20th century prophet dared to fight not only the good fight of civil rights, he dared to fight for the soul of America. He began to hammer the chains of ignorance and uncivil discord, hate and hopelessness, racism and sexism upon the anvil of pride and arrogance across an America refusing to embark upon a new egalitarian relationship with all Americans, black ones, brown ones, white ones, yellow ones, and red ones. He dared to dream and inspired others to dream with him. Brave dreams of freedom and justice, even in the midst of segregated suffering and an oppressive economic agency. The dreams, and he and others were willing to live and to die for. He was willing to push when others wanted to move with all deliberate speed. In the heat of the day, in the grit and grind of the unjust practice of unjust attitudes in our nation that promise, yes, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but for all far, far too many people, it became a set of empty promises. King took a stand when he could be hung from a tree, dragged behind a truck set on fire, beaten and tortured, or mutilated just because he wanted to register to vote. Was that yesterday or was that today? King was fighting for the soul of America. Why the soul of America and not the heart of America? Well, the heart is the cultural, emotional epicenter of America's identity. You don't have to look far to find America's heart. During the height of the Los Angeles fires, neighbors cleared streets for emergency vehicles to get through. The heart of America. Other neighbors helped others get to safety. The heart of America. Neighbors used garden hose to help fight back burning embers of homes that they weren't living in. The heart of America. A fitness center opened its home so evacuees could shower and change their phones. The heart of America. Food truck operators and restaurants got together to give free food out at the church. Trailers showed up to get horses to safety. And strangers took in strangers so they didn't have to sleep on the streets. And that's the heart of America. The heart of America is Super Bowl game. Say amen. Don't act like it's not. It is. More people show up for the Super Bowl cheering for teams that are not their own. Yes, Baltimore lost. Don't rub it in. They show up for his halftime show and commercials. America's heart is Christmas, with or without Jesus. Yes. Come on, don't act like that's not true. With its plethora of shared traditions and joys. That's America's heart. But America's soul. The heart is the cultural and emotional epicenter, but the soul is that connection between divine creator and the creation. It is the ever-present call to rise up. Soul serves as a link between the self and the higher aspirations and moral integrity. As Abraham Lincoln said in his first inauguration address, that he hoped that the nation would be touched by the better angels of our nature. For the soul is not influenced by societal changes or historical prejudices. Instead, the soul responds to a higher authority that declares, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. It answers to a higher authority that says, take up the cause of the fatherless and plead the cause of the widow. That's Bible. A call and a cause that says, but let justice roll down like a river and righteousness like a never-failing stream. When justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to evildoers. Do justice and love mercy. This then is the vision of justice that transcends contemporary biases, which aligns with King's idea of a moral universe that inherently leans towards justice. So ultimately, King was marching for and standing for and working for the aspirations of the American ideal of liberty and life and the pursuit of happiness. And this would translate into a future where every individual is treated with equal dignity and would be recognized as a divinely created being, thus fostering respect and justice for all. King dared to preach it. Yes, he did. Saying what needed to be said. speaking truth to power. And there are times in which I feel that we are afraid of the truth. And Nicole Hannah-Jones reminds us in her 1619 project that if we are truly a great nation, the truth cannot destroy us. Say amen. So we've been waiting a long time. Injustice didn't just start today. Long before the ink was dry in the Declaration of Independence. Long before and during the Middle Passage when strange fruit hung on southern trees. Long before Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus the Board of Education. Long before the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were added to the Constitution. Long before the Niagara movement of the 19th century and the Civil Rights movement of the 20th century and Black Lives Matter of the 21st century. We've been waiting a long time for justice. And waiting can be unsettling for the oppressed and frustrating for victimized soul. And so John Stroman writes that our greatest threat is not bombs or arms, but racism. For nothing has done more to kill, destroy, and inflict pain or suffering than racism. He says this is true from the Third Reich in Germany to apartheid in South Africa. He says we will never see peace in the streets of Soweto, New York, or Miami until we conquer that battle and allow God's love to prevail in our lives. That's Stroman, this is King. We cannot afford to worship the God of hate or bow down before the altars of retaliation, for the oceans of history are made turbulent by an ever-rising tide of hate, and history is cluttered with the wreckage of nations and individuals that pursue this self-defeating path. That's King. This is Bible. Love God, love neighbor as you love yourself, and love your enemies. Say amen. Persistent meanness has been given permission to occupy this land of ours. And suddenly people feel they have a right to erode basic human rights because they can. Or maybe it's because it doesn't serve their best interest. There is no value in return. You can't make more money off of it. And unleash a horrific rage that manifests itself in words and deed that maims common sense and makes a mockery out of reason. There are some thoughts in the academy that we just may need to re-examine our approach to the issue of racial injustice. Are you paying attention? That if racial injustice is a matter of fear and ignorance, then the solution is sensitivity training and shared learning opportunities between diverse group of people. But if racial injustice is not a matter of fear and ignorance, but is a matter of advantage and privilege, then holding hands and singing Kumbaya ain't gonna get it. So Dr. King goes on to say, the bullets and the guns, the dogs and the tear gas, the problem is far from solved. We still have a long way to go. He says, I'm concerned about justice. I'm concerned about brotherhood. I'm concerned about truth. Freedom has grown just a bud and is not yet a flower. This keeps happening perhaps because humanity is still shackled by the fear of different. Difference is to be feared. Diversity is still seen, says Nelson Mandela, as a threat, not a gift. Oh, that we would see diverse hues and hairs of our humanity as a gift. Oh, if we would appreciate each other's uniqueness as a gift. That my uniqueness doesn't negate your uniqueness, and your uniqueness doesn't negate my uniqueness. Your giftedness doesn't negate my giftedness, and my giftedness doesn't negate your giftedness. Your difference complements my difference, and my difference complements your difference. And when we understand that, then we can collaborate with each other and stop annihilating each other. Remember, we are interconnected threads. Can we not recognize that our lives are interconnected? That each of us is a thread in the tapestry of humans. We are human Americans, and we need each other, not to seek an advantage or privilege, but unite. And so this day, as we commemorate the birth of King, it's our call to stand together. This is not a time to abandon solidarity, but this is a time to resurrect it to new heights and in new ways. The Hebrew writer gives us an answer here when he preaches to us. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace that we may find mercy and help to time. And you knew I was going to get to a text because I'm a preacher and you invited a preacher, so I have to, right? That we may find mercy and grace to help in time of need. Nothing else will give you the power to do good or that has the power to breathe life into dead situations. Nothing else will increase the power to rise in difficult times. No one else has what we need to survive suffering except for Jesus in the room where it happens. Nothing else will help you stand in the face of situations that didn't work out like you wanted it to. And nothing else will help you survive heartbreaking and breaking point seasons. Draw near. The question asked of Isaiah still echoes from heaven. Who shall go for us? Who will take a stand and widen your circle of concern to include others who have been maligned or those who do not share your history or heritage? Who will take a stand for justice to narrow the gap between policy and practice, between what we say we believe and how we behave? Who will refuse to be silent about the sordid details of humanity, of our community and our country? Who will rise as newer generation of stewards? Who will work to protect and preserve our right for free speech, free religion, free assembly, freedom to teach, freedom to learn, freedom to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Who will return to the unfinished business of previous generations and make it our business to get it done? Who will preach prophetically, igniting the embers of justice and fair play, not for a few, but for the many, to live in its glow? Who will do the heavy lifting to seriously engage issues that plague our communities caused by the tyranny of exclusionary isms? Who is ready to be a human American? Roll up your sleeves, put your hands into the muck and mire of issues that are hijacking our sanity for personal gain, privilege, and self-interest. Who will pray and put feet to their prayer? Who, facing the rising sun of our new day be gone, let us march on till victory is won? Who? Come on, all y'all way up in the balcony. Who? Is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Who? Let us march on till victory is won.
We have to talk after that. All right. I'm Rabbi Renee Bauer from Jewish Social Services, and I feel very lucky to be here tonight. My dear friend, Ms. Sadat Abiri, who's a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner at Ease Mind Mental Health Solutions, and a longtime comrade fighting for justice with me, and I are here to share the litany of rededication.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Bauer, my dear good friend. The litany was written by the Reverend Mark Klinger, former senior pastor of First Baptist Church of Madison, based on key words and principles of Dr. King. Hopefully, this evening, the words will resonate with you and that we pledge to rededicate ourselves to work towards creating a more just and equitable society. We now ask if you can, please stand as we read the litany of rededication and join us in reading the last paragraph of the rededication.
We pledge ourselves to the American promise that all people are created equal, if they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We pledge we will avoid the use of violence within our world, our nation, our country, our city, our neighborhood, our home, and our family. We will harbor no hatred within our hearts. We will seek peaceful solutions and will preserve and protect the dignity and worth of every person.
We will not cooperate with evil. Neither will we be patient with injustice. Now is the time for us to do what is right.
We will treat every person as a being and value and intrinsic worth. We will never use another soul as a means of our own gain. We will keep hope alive in our hearts. We believe that the universe is on the side of justice. We believe that truth is stronger than evil.
We believe that there's no time for our apathy, silence, or complacency.
We must work incessantly to lead this nation that we love so highly. This is time for our vigorous and positive action. So we pledge to lift high the banner of peace, justice, reconciliation, and beloved community in our day, in this community. Thank you.
Well, good evening. How y'all feeling out there? Good, good. I feel good after a message like that. I was kind of discouraged after I watched the news tonight, but going through all these different King celebrations, I feel hopeful. But I'm Reuben Anthony, the president and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Madison. Come on. I'm pleased to be a part of the program tonight, and I'll be extending the call to action. What a wonderful program. Let's offer another round of applause to the King Coalition, the city, the county, for their ongoing commitment to this recognition. Their dedication is truly admirable, and we are grateful for the remarkable work that they continue to do. This year is just as impressive as it's been in the past. We have a great community choir. We have world-class speakers. Let's just give it up for Bishop McKenzie. I'd also like to offer my heartfelt congratulations to all the award recipients. The people we celebrate today are doing the kind of work that makes a real difference in the community. Dr. King would be undoubtedly proud of each of you, and we are incredibly proud of you too. So thank you for all the work that you do. As we reflect on the message shared tonight, the King Coalition asks you to ponder on how you can act to affect positive change in our community. How you can act to affect positive change in our community. We ask, what are the ways in which you can advance the movement for civil and human rights in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King and the many others who have followed him, devoting their life to creating change? In Dr. King's words, opportunities to engaging in positive actions are never lost, but simply deferred to another day. We are here to ask, what will you do today, tomorrow, and every day? Today's program gives us much to reflect on, but as we reflect, let us also remember that we must act. We cannot afford to be passive. We must remain engaged in the work that lies ahead. As we come together in celebration, let us also acknowledge that freedom has never come easily without sacrifice. Freedom ain't free. It has always been something worth fighting for. Let's not fool ourselves into thinking that we are in the promised land. Not yet. You saw the news today. Our journey is far from complete, and preservation of our freedom requires us to continue to be vigilant. Unlike the generations that came before us, many of us are born into a world where we had certain freedoms already in place. Somebody had already done the work. But this doesn't mean that our work is done today. We must be ready to protect the freedoms that we hold dear. If we do not, there's a risk of losing what others fought so hard to secure for us. We're going to lose it for our kids and our grandkids. It's not any time to get worried. It's not time to sit down. It's time to stand up. Now more than ever, we must commit to safeguarding a future that is just and free for our children. In doing so, we must stand firm, knowing that the work ahead of us is going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. Even in Bible times, there's hope shared. In the Bible, the prophet Jeremiah spoke to the people of Judah, warning them that their future would not be bright unless they followed the guidance that was set before them. Even in their trials, he reminded them that ultimately there's a God in control. We might have somebody in the White House, but there's a God that's still in control. I don't know about you, but I believe that God is still in control no matter who sits in the White House. So too, we must have faith that despite the challenges that we face as a nation, we can find strength in the knowledge that we know that there's a higher being, there's a higher purpose guiding us. Let's remain hopeful, steadfast, and ready for work ahead. Together, we can continue moving forward in the spirit of justice, freedom, and unity. All right, so we encourage you to explore volunteer opportunities through the Coalition's ongoing partners, the United Way of Dane County and the Wisconsin Network for Peace and Justice. Also, please stop by the Voter ID Coalition table. We invite you also to make a financial contribution. Your gift will help to fund the King Coalition's annual observation and activities. We will also direct donations to the Marcel J. Lee Scholarship Fund at UW-Madison. Now it's in its 40th year, and Foster of Dane County, providing services and supports for marginalized families. Thank you to the members of the Madison Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. I was wondering what all that red was out there. All that crimson and cream out there. Please make your contribution. They'll be passing baskets along. If you want to donate online, you can donate to mlkingcoalition.org, or you can text the word MLK 2025 to 33777. Thank you in advance for your generosity. kindness, and action. The work is just beginning, y'all. We have to pick up the mantle, and we have to protect the future of our children and our grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony. And you know what I loved? Did you know that when you asked for a contribution, you did this kind of thing, looking into the audience above with your glasses? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm just used to doing that.
Oh, he's a deacon, that's why he did it. That's right. All right, so we are coming to a close. Thank you all for making this such an awesome night. This was the place to be on January 20th. Thank you all. The litany of rededication and the call to action challenge us to use our voices and actions to continue Dr. King's legacy of service, equity, justice, and peace. Dr. King's message is not about one day or one weekend. It's about building and strengthening bridges, renewing and reinforcing the commitment that we have made tonight to each other and to our community every day. As Dr. King proclaimed, everyone can be great because anybody can serve. We all are called to serve. As our evening's program comes to an end, I encourage us all to be the light in the darkness, and we thank you for allowing us to share this holiday with you. Please be safe, stay warm, Bishop. It's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And let us take care of each other. Thank you so much. We're gonna sing together, We Shall Overcome.
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We'll walk hand in hand.
We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do
bless you.